Hey, this is Les from Comfortable Shoes Studio, and this is another episode of Art Making. In this episode, I'm going to do some more pen testing, but this time I'm going to test a bunch of different pens. So, part of the reason I do a lot of pen testing, and I'm doing a second episode of this, is that it really helps to build your confidence in your line if you know what your pen is going to do. You don't ever, or I don't ever want to be surprised when I'm sketching and doodling and drawing with what my pen does. Sometimes that can be really fun, but I really want to learn that in advance of working on finished artwork. So I'm going to be testing three different styles of pens in this episode. So the first one is just your random standard Uniball Vision Elite. This is a go-to pen. It is a roller ball. It's got a really nice liquid ink that just flows really smoothly. There's a reason a lot of people use this pen for sketching and doodling, and that's because it just works. It works really, really well. Also, the ink is waterproof and really deeply black. But you can see in this that the line is really, really the same throughout all of the drawing. You know, you get one standard kind of line width. There's no variation here. It's just like this is what you get from this pen. You get one line width. Yeah, you can overlap it and you can get really deep, nice darks. But this is a pen I like to use in connection with other pens. So if I do a drawing with this, I might use this for my outline or some of the outlining, and then I'll grab something like my Sailor Fude pen to add in some line variation. Because otherwise you end up drawing in the line variation and then having to go in with this pen and add some additional weight here and there. And that, I think, takes the spontaneity out of the line. So yeah, that is the Uniball Vision Elite. You can see I'm doing some cross-hatching here, which is something that this pen is really fantastic for. The excellent flow just means that it works really, really well. Yeah. All right, so for the second pen, I am using a Platinum Meteor pen filled with 1670 J. Urban 1670 Emerald of Chavour. And you'll notice the camera had a much harder time focusing for this pen. The line on this pen is incredibly fine. You get a really nice scratchy line. There's some points where the ink flow can't keep up with the speed that I am drawing, and so you get some scratchy, rough lines with it. There's a little bit of line variation because of that, but generally speaking, when I am drawing with a Platinum, either Preppy or this Meteor pen, or I'm writing with it, there's no line variation. This is very stiff pen. It doesn't have any flex or any bounce. It just sort of, you get what you get. So you end up, if you want a super fine line, you need an extra fine. If you want a bolder line, you need to get a medium. And that's just how it is with one of this type of pen. It's a great pen. Pretty much any ink works really well in it. And you get a nice kind of scratchy crow quill-like line, minus the variation you would get with a crow quill. So as you can probably see, I am doing a really similar set of hatching and cross-hatching and scribbles and marks as I did with the Uniball Vision Elite. It helps me to see what a pen does if I do similar marks as I do with every pen. So yeah, some scribbles, some intersecting lines, some cross-hatching, some spirals, all of these things let me know what this pen is going to do. And, I've used a Platinum Meteor pen for a while now. It has the same nib as the Platinum Preppy, which I've been using a Platinum Preppy for 10 12 years. I've got some that are old and cracked and destroyed. And I've got this one that is brand new. So, if you know how a pen works, you don't necessarily have to test it, but it's great to test it so you can see how it's going to behave on a particular paper. So I do a lot of testing of things, but I don't necessarily do a really, really formal test page like this one. This just sort of works for me, I guess. It's also a good example to show you what I mean by an exercise page or a test page, or a more detailed way of testing out a pen. This just happens to be like when I am testing, this is what I'll use. And I do put it in my art journal or my Everything Everywhere journal. Whatever I'm working in, that's what I'll do. I'm at the point with some of my pens and materials that I can just do a couple of hatches and I get a good idea of how that pen is going to behave. So at this point, I realized that the pen was not keeping up with me. All right, so this is a Bic crystal in baby blue. Also, the camera had a really hard time with this blue. If I'd been thinking, I would have grabbed purple instead. But what I want to show with a ballpoint is, again, similar cross-hatching, similar way of working. But with a pen like this, pressure makes a big difference. Also, this thing blobs like just crazy bananas blobbing. So I grabbed a piece of paper towel to wipe the blobs off, and I occasionally get in there and forget to wipe the blob off and end up with it on my page. So this is a thing to worry about when you do use ballpoints, particularly one with a really fat tip like this one. The 1mm is super wide and is very prone to blobbing. Great pen, but very prone to blobbing. So in the case with this pen, I'm treating it more like a pencil. The Bic crystal in particular has the capability of shading, much like a pencil does. So I do some cross-hatching with it, and use different pressures with it just to get an idea of how it's going to work. And you can really see the difference in line quality between these three pens. The first one was really static. The next one had some flow issues keeping up with me. This one acts more like a pencil. You get an idea of how these things are going to change and work. But also, like, if you look at the line quality, you can get an idea of what pen you might want to use depending on the mood of your artwork. And again, this is where that confidence in line can be built up. If I know exactly what my pen can do and how far I can push it, well, I feel more confident in testing out what a pen's going to do. So this just give you a little bit of an idea of the different things you can do with a pen and a test page. You don't have to do a whole page of testing and exploration of a pen to get a good idea of what it's going to do. So here we are, almost at the end here. If you found this helpful, give it a like, give it a thumbs up, maybe hit that subscribe button, and hopefully we'll see you again. If you really enjoyed it, share this on your social media so other people can see it, and that really helps grow the channel and bring some new folks in. So with that, I'm going to say thank you, and we'll see you next time. Thanks and bye.